Good afternoon. Are we live? See if I've got signal. I have. Quick one. So, I want to talk about simple habits and why sometimes when I speak to some of the ladies who are just on the Kickstart and they've read my book, which is on Amazon, or if you want a free copy, comment below and I'll send it to you. The 31.5-day habit shift, where we go over 15 really simple habits. Now, some people say, even though they're really simple, I still can't do them. Afternoon, Debbie. Even though they're so simple, I still can't do them. Why is that? And they beat themselves up for it. And I'm going to explain why. Is because simple habits, hey Julia, simple habits are just as easy to do as they are just as easy not to do. Because they're so simple, they don't take much time to do, but equally, because they don't take much time and prep, guess what? They can easily be forgotten. And the reason I wrote Sit Down Daddy at the top is because one habit in the book, which I often go over and people find really helpful, and me too with this. If you try this today, I can guarantee it will actually solve quite a lot of mindless eating and stress eating and emotional eating and activate the rational brain, which is to sit down when you eat. Now, a habit we try and install at home, and I like to think I've done this quite well actually, is that we try and eat together. Hey Diane, we try and eat together as much as we can with the kids. And that's something that we do at meal times just to catch up. It's a good time, just, no phones, no nothing, just to chat. Hey Sandra, and it's an easy opportunity to catch up and speak and just be a bit more mindful around food and how much we're eating, and try some new foods out, recipes, get them involved in the cooking, etc. The cool thing about it is I'm always like, oh yeah, if you want to eat that before it, if we're eating whenever, or if they want a piece of fruit or something, sit down and have it. Sit down and have it. Hey Louise, sit down and have it. And they've got into the habit generally of sitting down at the table. Sometimes, this is probably stemmed from me giving them blueberries and them going in the living room. Mrs. Fruci is frustrated at this. Mainly because she had to repaint some of the walls because of blueberry hands. You know what I'm talking about. So since then, we've generally made a rule that they eat at the table. Sit down, eat at the table. The interesting thing about this is sometimes, whenever I'm prepping, it could be like a carrot. I'm cutting carrots, and I put a carrot, little crunch, could be a little bit of cheese. Whenever I do that, I turn around. Who's there? Daddy? Sit down. What are you eating? Literally, like on my case. Now, this is one of the reasons why simple habits are so hard to do at the same time, is because they're so simple that they don't need much thought about, much kind of prep. Accountability comes in though, and you're starting to change the level a bit, change that awareness. So one thing that some of the ladies do is actually to have their own little accountability WhatsApp messenger groups. When they do it, when they don't do it. Why is this important? Why does this work? Well, they get very passionate about counting their wins, because it might not be that you've been perfect. And the reason why I said even though you can't stick to these simple habits, even though they're so simple, it's because sometimes your definition of stick to is really biased. And the reason I bring this up, if you think about it, let's say last week you ate when you weren't sat down 6 times in that week. This week, you're really aware of it, but one time you eat when you are not sat down, but because you're more aware of it, you might define that as failure, when actually you've only done it once this week and you did it 6 last week. And when you keep score of that, you start to get aggressively, passionately good at tracking your wins. And when you track your wins, you gain momentum. When you gain momentum, you start to look at the confidence that's started to create. You start to build confidence and start to go, yeah, actually, I'm getting better. I'm seeing progress with this. You see where I'm going with this? About passionately looking at your wins with this and tracking it. Because it's very easy to just go into that path of defining I'm now off plan. So when do you define when you're off plan? Really keep reminding yourself of this, because I would argue that the moment you define yourself as off plan, you've just given yourself permission to actually now go off plan. So when you say you're off plan, I would say you're not properly off plan yet, but often you say I'm off plan, now I've got permission to go off plan. If you're relating to that, let me know. Just be aware of it next time you do it. Like, when do you define I'm now off plan? Then consider, whether you're actually off plan then, or whether that's just giving you a nice comforting feeling to go, I'm not going to have that healthy, nutritious meal. I'm now going to go and snack when I'm not hungry. I'm now going to go have that. One won't hurt. And one doesn't hurt. But with one doesn't hurt, I want you to be really honest with this. Sometimes that's a little voice in your head giving you permission to actually now just go, I've gone off plan. And it's not that one hurts, and it's not that at all. Hey, Mary. It's not that one does hurt, but just be wary of where that little voice comes from. Because sometimes we say it because we get comfort from it. Sometimes we say we're off plan because now we're off plan and we can go and, because we get something from binge eating, comfort eating, not exercising. It feels good short term. Louise says, oh, I feel a spreadsheet coming on. It's been a hard couple of weeks. Yeah. Track your wins. Hey, Caroline. Hey, Michelle. So, another thing you can do, going back to simple habits, I went on a tangent then, always do. Another thing you can do with the simple habits though, hey Marie, another thing you can do with the simple habits is look at how you can partner them with simple things you already do. So for example, no matter what happens in my day, I'm always going to get about 4 glasses of water in, minimum. That's like minimum, because I'll have one first thing in the morning. Literally, it's like a clockwork. So literally brush my teeth, glass of water before eating, even making the coffee. Hey Pam. And then I'll have one before every meal. And I'll also have one every time I have a cup of coffee. So if I'm ever in a coffee shop or if I'm ever at home, while I'm cooking it, while I'm making the coffee, I'll then have a glass of water. And just by coupling them habits, I do it so automatically that simple habit of drink water every 2 hours is now done automatically, because I do it because I love coffee and I love having meals, nourishing my body, flooding my body in nutrients, so I'm in control of food. Hey Dawn, I'll do that anyway. So if I can partner it with it and they become combined, it's one less thing to think about. The fewer decisions you have to make, the less willpower you have to use. Remember that. Anyway, I've rambled enough. Exciting news. Our new ladies only private studio in Devizes is opening in November. So more on that later. Also, boxing sessions are starting next week in Marlborough. So we've got all our punch bags ready and we're ready to go. Bring your gloves and punch away. So excited for that. Have a lovely weekend. Any questions, do let me know and speak soon. Also, some more exciting news coming tomorrow. Yeah, had an idea and I think I'll roll with it, but more on that tomorrow. Speak soon.